You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
Oh, good for you.
All right, what is it, Tuesday night? Must be the Tuesday Night Radio Baloney Live. I'm your host, Richie Baloney. How's everybody doing out there? Looks like we got Spam out there, Rosie. We got Rangus out there. We got Steve Tollison. Good to see everybody. All right. What are we doing? Now, I want to ask you guys quick before we start. It's getting hot in here. So I got a fan going. Can you guys hear the fan? Can you hear the fan? I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to turn it off and then turn it back on again. You guys tell me if you hear anything different. There, I just turned the fan off. Can you tell? Did you hear a fan? Did you not hear a fan? I'm going to turn it back on again. Steve Tollison says, I am a fan, but I hear no fan. Good. Ringus says, not really. And Rosie says, no. Okay, I think we're good. All right, so I don't have to sit here sweating, stewing. Perfect. All right. So I guess that means we're going to get to the menu. We'll go over the stories we're going to cover tonight very quickly, and then we'll go back to the chat, and then we'll come back and deal with these stories in detail. First off, we are going to the UK. We're going across the pond to the UK. We're going to talk a little bit about Rupert Lowe and Restore Britain, which is kind of an insurgent party in the UK right now. And a lot of people think this is really kind of their last shot to kind of fix things there. And, you know, there's nobody else who's actually going to do what is required, which is the tough stuff, including reform, right? Not going to do it. So we are going to talk about that, look at some polls and stuff, and listen to Rupert Lowe here, who's saying that reform is managed opposition. It does kind of look more and more like that, I have to say. We got in the Wokemon virus file, we got California spending $49 million on a program that gives free solar panels to illegal aliens. I thought we'd just look at like all the stuff they give away to people that don't have any right to it. So we'll spend a bit of time on that. DNC is having a terrible time raising money. Terrible time. They're being way outraised by multiples, apparently, by the RNC. So DNC in trouble, not raising money. I wonder if this has anything to do with like USAID and like all those NGOs and stuff. I wonder. We'll talk about that. What do we got here? Yeah, okay. So Europe has finally kind of woken up and realized, yeah, maybe we didn't need like 1 million Syrians. Like Germany is saying, maybe we didn't need a million Syrians after all, because it hasn't gone very well. So now and with the rise of the AfD in Germany, which is an actual right-wing party, not far right, just an actual right-wing party. Right, that has like sensible ideas about things like immigration, but Syria is not cooperating. So they've been told, the former ISIS guy has told them that we think that the 700,000 refugees you wanted to send back here, I think they're doing fine in Germany actually. So I think you could just keep them. So not actually very surprising. They've really made a mess. Mother Merkel, they just gave her an EU award for defending European values. Wow. She was terrible. She will be, I think she must be very hated in Germany now, right? You'd think. What's going on here? So, yeah, we have our own refugee problems here. The Liberal government is just throwing away people's money just on all of these many refugees that the Liberals have collected for some reason, just invited to come here to just live off Canadians for some reason. We are going to talk about that. What do we got here? Google exec warned Bill C-22 goes beyond any regime that I'm familiar with because it gives government broad secret powers without judicial oversight. Bill C-22 is causing a big problem. This is going to be a major irritant with the United States. Doesn't matter. It's bipartisan, Democrat, Republican. They all agree. All of the liberal internet bills. There's various censorship bills or basically extortion bills like the Online News Act. They hate all of it. This is a major problem for resolving our trade issues with the United States. We will talk about that. Yeah, so this is Canada now. Let's see, effigies hung. There's Trump, of course. There's just a Jewish guy there that they wanted to, yeah, lots of Palestinian flags hanging around there. And yeah, I don't know why Canada wanted this. Seems kind of bad. This sort of thing didn't used to happen in Canada. Now it's normal. This has been normalized now. These are Canadian values. Mark Carney will surely tell you. Meme review. Meme review. We love the meme reviews. We've got lots of memes in here. That's going to be good fun. Everybody loves those. Sometimes on my second channel, I do the clip videos. Sometimes they get 1,000 views. Sometimes they get 7. Just depending on whether YouTube wants to. Mostly they just get like 7. Occasionally YouTube will show them to people and then people like them. Weird. Let's see. Holly Doan from Blacklock's Reporter says their new data confirms, frankly, what we already knew. Sharp generational divide between Canadians who rely on TV newscasts and those who get their news via the internet. This is why the Liberals have a stranglehold on the 65 plus demo, because they're the only ones with their brains plugged into the CBC. The Liberals have like a 22, 25 point advantage over the Conservatives in that demo. There's lots of awesome Canadian boomers. I know some of them watch this show, but the liberal boomers, they're the ones whose brains are plugged in to the TV newscast, to the teleprompters. And yeah, that explains exactly what's happened. It's shocking how powerful it actually is. Just wait until he comes after all that sweet, sweet home equity they have now after all the mass immigration. Maybe that'll change their minds. Probably not. We got some just far leftists just, being a-holes against independent journalists here. Here's Kareem Assad, who just seems like a lovely person. But, of course, the lefties, she's a Nazi. She's a Nazi, apparently. Yeah, now, this is just depressing. Just a bit of, just very quickly, we'll do some polling stuff. And a lot of Canadians just seem to love Mark Carney and his net zero finance and him enriching himself at their expense. Huge fans. And it's kind of depressing. I will not let it blackpill me, however. Let's see. What do we got going on here? Here's just Mark Carney blathering with his word salad. We'll take a quick look at that. A bit more on the just appalling, atrocious CBC prank show. The targeting just regular Canadians, Canadian academics, retired RCMP. We have a little bit more on that. And then, yeah, so medical assistance in dying in Canada is at it again. Just trying to kill succeeding in just killing people. Here's one guy who was doctor met him outside of a Tim Hortons, drove him straight to the suicide booth. We'll go over that. Canada's dystopian at this point. It's just a dystopia. Then we have the last bookmark of the evening, which is just random stuff and stuff you guys sent in. And we don't actually have a ton in here. We've got Tony Hinchcliffe here commenting on being called a Nazi by Chelsea Handler. And Tony Hinchcliffe is great. He is really good, really funny. And yeah, I think you will enjoy watching that. And what do we got? Anybody watching on YouTube, I beseech you, I beg of you, go to the second channel, Radio Baloney News. That's where all of the clip videos go. Don't worry, I take the clips. I don't just like clip a part of the live stream and just put it up like that. I go through it, I clean it up, I get rid of all the ums and ahs. I make it real nice-like. And I even add stuff sometimes as well to make it even better. So, but you can only see those on the second channel. It's only about, I don't know, I think about 8 months old at this point. And I need your help because just suddenly YouTube decided to put its foot down on the neck of Radio Baloney News. as YouTube is wont to do. So if you guys don't come and help me out, YouTube ain't going to help you. YouTube is not going to show it to you. That's the thing. So you got to go help me. YouTube fears us. That's the thing. It fears me. It fears you. But more than anything, it fears us joining our powers together and then becoming more powerful than it could even imagine. Terrified of that. All right. Let's now what are we doing? Every time you subscribe to Radio Baloney News, a purple-haired gremlin gets disowned by their family. So that should motivate you. Am I drinking coffee now? You bet. I'm tired. That's some good rant juice. All right. Now let's dish out some good karma. As everybody knows, we're streaming on Rumble, YouTube, X, and Locals. And when you like the stream, you get obviously free good Radio Baloney karma, unadulterated or mostly unadulterated Radio Baloney karma. Good stuff. When you get in early, you get extra. And that's the stuff you can't even pay for. I mean, it's so good. Spam bot, first like. That's 6 good karmas right there. Boom. Oh, only like on Locals as usual. That's 12 good karmas. Boom. Rosie got like number 3, so that's 4 good karmas. Yikes. Then he got 4. He got the 4th like, so that's 3 good karmas. Wow. What is going on? What else you guys talking about? Wait a second. Now, is he saying he got like number 4? What the F? What the F? I don't know. I'm just gonna say, yeah, 3 good karmas for you too. I don't know, whatever. I don't really care that much. Let's see. Ringus says, I like how the elites give each other rewards for destroying their country. Well, I mean, to be fair, destroying their continent. Not just country, continent, right? Yeah, giving Merkel a medal of honor for defending European values. So the way you defend European values is by importing millions and millions of people who seem to hate Europe. And are determined to impose their values on Europe. So I mean, it's comical. You can't even make it up. Rosie says, Richie, you said we might begin with, I forgot about this. History this day in 2025. I wore red, white, and blue and ate lunch out with family. Celebrated Memorial Day watching fireworks from my upstairs window. So this day in 2025. Well, that's wonderful because I'd forgotten about this day in history. So thanks for catching us up on that. All right. Rosie says, no fan sound means you probably already have a mic with voice isolation. Probably. I just got a mic. I don't know what it does. We also will not hear any yelps from Kicked Anna. Hey, don't go there. We're not going there. It'd be an auto pickup from Chinese Electric Mobile made and cremation pods. Is he talking about, yes, medical assistance in dying in Canada? Now you get picked up from the Tim Hortons straight to the execution chamber. It's crazy. Canada is a dystopian nightmare at this point. Let's see. Steve, hello to all the usual suspects. How you doing, Steve? Number 1 on YouTube. That's 6 good karmas for you. He says, and boy, do I need it. That's why I'm here, people. Give the people who really need it their good karma. Izzy says, I'm sure I would have died from lib AIDS without the good karma. It does protect from lib AIDS, by the way. It does protect from that, so don't worry about that. Izzy says, best karma on the internet. Come on, damn straight. Beautiful. Let's see. What else we got? Rosie says, I had no idea we had Tim Hortons here in the U.S. I saw a photo of one the other day. Well, it's actually owned by a U.S. company now, Tim Hortons. It's been bought out. And I guess maybe that's one of the reasons why every Tim Hortons in Canada is now a Sri Lankan village. A pre-industrial Sri Lankan village. I don't know. Lots of flies there. That's why I don't eat there anymore, because it's gross. Dunkin' Donuts is apparently coming back. They came into Canada and then didn't go well and they left, but apparently they're coming back because maybe they understand. I guess they understand. Maybe they've been watching the show. Yeah, like a lot of Canadians have just boycotted Tim Hortons. It used to be this Canadian brand, right? And you'd go in and it'd be a bunch of the local kids working in there. And then just suddenly it's a bunch of 30-year-old Sri Lankan villagers, every single one. And now there's like flies everywhere. I'm not kidding. So I haven't been to one in many years. And a lot of people are saying, I mean, there was that picture that went kind of viral of Lauren Southern holding a Tim Hortons cup saying, I love Indian food. So maybe Tim Hortons maybe a Dunkin' Donuts caught wind of all this and said, we sense an opportunity here. I will go to, because Tim Hortons is American known now anyway, so it doesn't matter where the donut shop is from. I will make a point of going to Dunkin' Donuts when they move here, just to spite Sing Hortons. A lot of people call it Sing Hortons now because of the temporary foreign workers who aren't so temporary, it turns out. Used to be just local kids working at these, not anymore. Just a total betrayal of the country, in my opinion. Sounds like some commie shit. Sounds like some commie shit, Izzy says. Sure is. Izzy says, I thought it was an Indian company. If you went in one, you would assume so. Ringus says, Tim Hortons just announced they are hiring local Canadian workers. I think it's all bullshit. Apparently, they're still got ads out for temporary foreign workers as well. So it's all bullshit. I don't forgive them. No, I do not forgive them. I think it's a lifetime boycott for me. Rosie says, I hit the like button, and this is what I love about this channel, doing what I do, doling out the good karma, is the testimonials from the people, seeing how it's changed people's lives in a positive way, how inspirational it is. Rosie says, I hit the like button, and it protected my dogs from streamers who kick dogs. God damn it, Rosie. I did not kick my dog. I just moved my foot. Sometimes. Hold on one second, you guys. Sometimes Mr. Snacks likes to come and sit by my feet while I'm streaming. One time I moved my foot and it kind of kicked him and he gave me this look of just like I just totally betrayed him. Why would I do such a thing? It was a total accident, a complete accident. And now my cruel chat is never going to let me live it down. So I think that, I don't know, what would cause somebody to decide to just torment another human being like that, to just attack them over and over and over again. You know, even when they know the streamer is totally innocent. I'm no Hassan Piker. I'm not shocking my dog. I'm not kicking my dog. A lot of people have moved their foot and it's accidentally gone into their dog. Mr. Snacks is fine, by the way. He understands. He got it. He's like, I'm like, you're sitting right there. I don't know you're there. He sneaks up. All right. Anyway, I just had to close the window there because I didn't want the neighbors to hear me ranting like a lunatic. Oh. Let's see. But Hassan Piker actually did shock his dog because it moved while he was streaming. Terrible. All right. How else does one earn a damn it? Rosie says cruelty. T-Sig roasting the host. Any other good methods? Please reply. Well, here's a reply. You want to reply? Here's a reply.
You lousy corksuckers.
How about that? How about that reply? Like that? How about this reply right here? How about where is it? How about this reply?
You can stuff it up your ass for nothing and fuck off while you're doing it.
How about this reply?
Go fuck yourself. Is that clear?
What the fuck is it with you?
Anyway, I think I've made myself clear. I guess we'll do the stories now. We're already 22 minutes into this damn thing. How long is this going to take? All right. So, Calvin Robinson is responding to this thing that he So Calvin Robinson is. Let me restart. I don't have anything written down, people. Okay, I have nothing written down. So here, Peter McCormick has posted this here. This clip from his show. It looks like the Peter McCormick show, talking to Rupert Lowe, and Rupert Lowe is the leader of, I guess, kind of like a conservative insurgent party in the UK. It's kind of a splinter off from Reform, but it's kind of the original spirit of Reform. So it's not, it's not compromising the way that Reform is now. So Nigel Farage and Reform have kind of turned into, well, Rupert Lowe is saying controlled opposition. Let's take a look.
People accuse us of being all sorts of stuff. I personally think, if there is a danger that Reform is managed opposition. I think the establishment sort of knows that probably the Reds or the Blues may blow up and not win, so they need a safety valve to win. And we're not. We are, and by the way, we're not in anybody's camp. We are only in the camp of the British people. We're in the camp of as I say, a sovereign British nation state that makes decisions that are in the interest of the British people. That's what government should be.
So you think they are managed opposition?
I personally think they are.
What does that mean? What does managed opposition mean?
What is it, like a safety valve? So if this group that we've been talking about, who now controls Parliament and has undermined the sovereignty of Parliament, know that a free radical from outside is going to win, they don't like that, because that means that they don't necessarily control the agenda. And the danger for a lot of them is that if they haven't behaved themselves, they go to prison, and they don't like that. So I think they needed a safety valve, and I've been inside Reform. I don't understand why Reform has hired so many Tories who've been involved in the past with the failures of the Tory government.
Well, it's not just Tories. Look, here's 2 ex-Labour people. Labour? What are they doing in Reform? If Reform is a far-right party, or even a right-wing party, what are Labour people doing? Like ex-Labour mayor and councillor join Reform UK? That can't be a good sign. That's a sign of just immediate compromise and acquiescence to the establishment, in my mind. What do we have here? United Kingdom Parliament voting intention. So this is for the next general election, which is still, I think, about 2.5 years away. So right now, Reform leads 26%, and Reform is the best of, out of Lib Dems, Labour, the Conservative Party, the Greens. Obviously, Reform is the best of those, but it's not enough. You can see down here, there's Restore Britain, 3%, and but I think that's low, because I figured out a split screen thing on this browser, and now I'm going to start doing this stuff, having 2 things on one page. That way I have to have less tabs. Isn't it awesome? But in any case, here is a poll that includes Restore Britain in their question. So you see here, 3% Restore Britain, but this is an aggregate, this poll here from Politico. So there's a bunch of polls that don't even list Restore Britain. It'd just be other, there'd just be an option of other. So you got them at 3%, and that seems low. But you can see here in a poll where they're actually offered as an option, it's 9%. And this party's only a few months old. You can see here, they've got Reform at 21%. So what that tells me is that when people see Restore as an option, they will pick that, or, 5, 6, 7% of Reform's base will pick Restore over Reform if they've got that option, right? And, there's still, a long time before the next election. Restore's goal right now, it seems to be, I think Restore's goal is to just simply displace Reform, just wreck Reform, get them out, and just take all of their votes. And I think that, considering Rupert Lowe was in Reform and was kicked out by Nigel Farage for being, I guess, too patriotic or too popular, I think it can be done. But let's, hold on. Let's go here. So here's the Restore Britain website. Your voice, your parliament, your Britain. 96,000 members and 10% national polling. So their own numbers are 10%. Maybe they're exaggerating it a little bit, but they've got themselves at 10. And I'm hearing numbers around there, 8, 9, 10%. But 96,000 members. So how does that fare against the other parties? Well, Reform has got 268,000. So they've got more than a third already. And they're only like months old. They're not been around for years. They're months old, Restore Britain. Labour Party, under 250,000 members. Green Party, 230,000 members. Conservative Party, only 123,000 members. Restore is almost, will soon overtake the Conservatives, it appears. Lib Dems, 60. They've got more than the Lib Dems, which is a party that's been around for a while. It's an established party. Scottish National Party, 56,000 members. Your Party, 50,000 members. Your party is kind of a splinter party from Labour, which is even more insane than Labour. So it's all pretty interesting, isn't it? There's a lot of fear, obviously.
People accuse us.
There's a lot of fear, obviously, about splitting the vote, the Conservative vote. And yeah, that is a risk. But let's see. Calvin Robinson says here, Rupert Lowe is spot on here. Reform is managed opposition. The establishment knows we are all tired of red versus blue. So they have captured Reform as a safety valve. Well, the stuff you hear from Nigel Farage does sound like that, to be honest. It sounds like a slightly more sane establishment position, right? And, the voters in the UK, working class conservative voters have been betrayed over and over and over again. So I think there's very good reason to distrust. Now, Farage is a known guy, right? But I think that, I don't know, I think that Rupert Lowe, I think the things he is saying are going to be very appealing to a population, especially working class population, that is just being abused by its leaders, by the establishment. Let me show you, hold on. I want to show you something very quickly. This is all the Unite the Kingdom stuff, but I've got something down here. You don't need to start your PhD thesis. We're going to get to it before where did it go? Hold on. Oh, I hate it when this happens. Hold on. All right. Maybe I got too much stuff in here now. Hold on. We will find it. Don't you worry. We will find it. All right. Where? Oh, damn it. Hold on. If I just go up now, we might get it. I don't know. Where is it? I have the perfect clip to show you. Oh, damn it. All right, hold on. Just wait. Always do this. Mhm. Okay. If I can't find this quickly, we're just going to move on. What's he saying here? Hold on. Which one is this? Nope. Hold on. Nope, still not there. Damn it. Damn it, people. Just hang in there. Oh, is this it here? All right, let's check this one. Okay, I think this is what the one I wanted. All right. My apologies. Let's check it out.
I would detain and I would deport. Anyone arriving illegally, detain and deport. Anyone living here illegally, detain and deport. Anyone any criminals in our prisons who are foreign nationals, deport. Families of those people where a rapist is raping white underage English working class girls who've been groomed, if that family knew that that person was perpetrating that evil on those vulnerable young girls, if they were foreign nationals or dual nationals, I would deport them. I have never said whole communities of British passport holders should be deported. What I have said is once we've done those things I've just outlined, we do need to start looking at those people who are on welfare, who've come here, who aren't contributing to our society, who don't speak English, and who effectively are going to be a burden to the taxpayer for the foreseeable future. And we should encourage them to leave.
So that's the I think a lot of British people, especially, working class people, that's going to be very welcome to them. That's going to be welcome news to them, hearing this. Because nobody ever voted. No party ever ran on, we're infinite immigration. Nobody ran on that. This was something that was just done, inflicted on the British people. So at some point, you just need common sense. Sometimes you just need to be kind of hard, right? Sometimes you just need to be kind of tough, especially if you want to save your country, if you want to retain your culture and your country, right? And also not get blown up and stabbed all the time, that sort of thing. Or have grooming gangs going around and abusing your children. So, I think that's all going to be very welcome stuff. And I think you're going to see Restore Britain rise. And I think it's quite possible they could just displace reform, because they're really kind of more the, I think, original intent of reform. And Rupert Lowe was in reform before he got kicked out for being too based, I guess, and too popular. So we will keep our eyes on it. All right, everybody. Let's get rid of these tabs, and then we'll go to the chat. What is going on? Okay. We did good. I think we did good. All right. Steve says anger management may be in your future. Shut up. Izzy says, I can say the worst sound I heard a dog make was my all-black dog sleeping in the shadows around a campfire. My mom stepped on him good. Oh, everybody felt terrible. Let's see. Let's see. He made a good 10 years after, but got a glow-in-the-dark collar. Yes. Yes, that's a good, glow-in-the-dark collar. Good move. He made it to 19. Wow. That's an old dog. Ringa says, I will vote for UK reform I would vote for UK reform if I lived in the UK. If I lived there, I'd vote for them too. Rosie says, Richie, you may like the new multi-platform streaming tool. Just heard of it. Helix tools built by Vaping Gamers. Oh, no. Well, I mean, the Rumble Studio is a multi-platform streaming tool, right? Because I'm streaming to 4 places right now simultaneously, but thank you. Steve says, I am worried about splitting the vote, and I've heard rumors that Nigel Farage is not always not what he's cracked up to be. Yeah, he's gone soft. It seems like now he's just more interested in winning than doing what really actually needs to be done. I think he might, he's starting to seem like more and more like he wants to be in the establishment. Let's see. Rosie says, I cannot imagine trusting much of anyone in the UK government. Low may be a good solution. Well, you never know with anybody ultimately, but he seems good. Like he seems solid, right? And yeah, I mean, he was kicked out, I guess, of Reform for not compromising. So I think that says good things about him. All right. Let's see. What do we got here? Helix Tools deals with the copyright issues, but you know what? I need to be in the creator program on Rumble, so I do that through I think I have to be in Rumble Studio for that. So I don't, and also I don't like new things, right? I don't like new things. I don't like trying new things. I like things to stay the same, right? That's why I don't do those. You know what? Right? Those software, whats, right? Updates. I don't do those because it messes everything up, right? Right now, it's all going fine. There's the occasional hiccup here and there, but generally everything works well. All of a sudden I got a whole new software suite I've got to use, and there's constant update this and update that popping up, and every time I press the damn thing, everything stops working again, and everything worked just fine before. Why did I do it? Why did I listen to Rosie? Why didn't I just keep doing what I always do? Why? It was perfect. Everything was just fine. Sure, there was the occasional hiccup, but it was fine. We could deal with it. Everything works fine. The show was going fine. I mean, we could use more people, obviously, but still not bad. At least it worked, for Christ's sakes. At least it worked, damn it. At least it worked before I got these Helix tools that have confused everything and destroyed my life and destroyed my peace of mind and my psychology. And now I'm just like staring into the abyss, staring into the streaming abyss. And I wonder if I'll ever be able to pull myself out. I'll never be the same person again. I'm permanently changed now after these Helix tools. So you all know that if all of a sudden I'm just gone off the internet, it's because I tried these Helix tools that Rosie suggested to me. That'll be it. If I'm just suddenly not there anymore, no messages, you say, it's Rosie's fault. He tried those Helix tools and they totally messed everything up with all those updates. Anyway, not to be too hard on you, Rosie. All right. Rosie says, okay, no new things. All right. What crazy thing is happening in California? Let's see. Christopher Rufo posted this. Hold on one sec. Needed some rent juice. Scoop, California has spent $49 million on a program that gives free solar panels to illegal aliens? What? The state claims that its farm worker weatherization initiative fights climate change. No, it doesn't. But we traced the funds and found signs of waste and corruption. So let's take a quick peek, and then we're going to take a look at some of the other stuff that California just wastes money on. By the way, these solar panels are not going to change the climate. They just can't. It's actually impossible. Let's see. California is spending millions of dollars on a program that provides free solar panels, because that's not crazy, refrigerators and windows to low-income farm workers, including illegal immigrants. Really, there's no distinction really in California anymore between legal, illegal. The initiative, called the Farm Worker Housing Component of the Low-Income Weatherization Program, is part of Canada's sprawling multi-billion-dollar cap-and-trade system, which taxes carbon producers and redistributes approximately $3 billion per year to energy programs and left-wing social causes, all under the banner of fighting climate change. It's all just a big scam. Right, everything that we're seeing in Canada with the carbon capture, the biggest carbon capture project in the world, which, once you look into it a little bit, you realize that the amount of carbon captured is so small that not only won't it change the global climate, it couldn't. There is no way that it could. It's literally impossible. It's an entire waste of time. And if you were to take every single project like that, carbon capture project, that's in planning around the world, and they all actually went through, which they won't. Most of the vast majority will never. It's just talk, right? It's just virtue signaling. But even if they all went through by 2030, it would be under 1% of global emissions. That's if they did it for the entire world. So it's not changing the climate. It's doing something else. It's putting money in people's pockets. It's a scam. I wanted to see just all the different things, the major things that they're just giving to non-citizens. I mean, not even just non-citizens, people in California illegally. Full scope Medi-Cal. It seems like a lot. Dental benefits. I mean, here, I'm a Canadian citizen. I have to pay for my dental benefits. Down in California, I should be an illegal immigrant in California. Emergency and restricted Medi-Cal, pregnant postpartum coverage up to a year. Family packed family planning, breast, cervical cancer treatment, prostate cancer may be accessible. Let's see. Food and nutrition, WIC, women, infants, children, school meals, CalFresh, SNAP, food stamps. Food stamps, really? Wow. California Food Assistance Program, CalWorks, what's that? That's Welfare to Work, Cash Assistance Program for Immigrants. You can see it just goes on and on and on. Look at this driver's license and identification. Wow. Unable to residents, unable to prove legal presence. And I believe they all actually get registered to vote too when they do this. Interesting. Let's see. Unemployment insurance, disability insurance, emergency disaster relief, public health services, it just housing, in-home support services. It just goes on and on and on. An enormous amount of money, an enormous amount of resources that's being denied to American citizens. Pretty shocking. And let's not forget the taxpayer-funded boob jobs and sex change operations in Newsom's, California. That's illegal aliens. Californians are paying for boob jobs and sex changes for illegal aliens. Isn't that insane? Isn't that utterly and totally insane? So this 49 million here, I mean, that's the least of it, right? That's nothing. Solar panels for, do they just have people they have like a huge book of just services, government services in California, just going through and checking just to make sure that illegal immigrants get all of it? Strikes me as fairly insane. I don't know why anybody would support having their resources just given away to people, other people who shouldn't even, that literally broke the law entering the country. It strikes me as totally insane. I guess it's that suicidal empathy that Gadsad's always talking about, huh? All right, let's get rid of these tabs. We're done. Done. All right, let's go back to the chat. What's going on? What are you guys talking about? Let's see. Rosie asks, are you saying there may be waste and fraud in California? I am not sure that would ever happen there. Of course not. Let's see. Rosie says it would be nice if we could vote in the UK. I'm sure they'd appreciate it. Let's see. Spambot's having cider again. This is 2 nights in a row, people. 2 nights in a row. I think he hammered down like 3 ciders, probably big ciders too. Probably like those 2-liter bottles of cider, actually. Spambot's getting ham tonight. Macross, how you doing, Macross? Says you get a solar panel, and you get a solar panel, and you get a solar panel, and you get a boob job, and you get a boob job, and you get a vagina, and you get a vagina, and you get a vagina. And here's some cash, and you get some cash, and you get some cash. Wow. Seems crazy to me. I don't know. I think it's nuts. 440 milliliter cans. I kind of expected Spambot would be brewing his own cider. I'm a little disappointed. I got to say. Let's see. Steve says he fled from California 7 years ago. You know, I spent a fair amount of time. I never lived in California. I spent a fair amount of time down there, and just visiting, going down there. And the last time I was there, I just thought LA is just a shithole. Like, I don't ever want to come back here again, and I've never gone back because LA is a shithole. And that was like, I don't know, like 9 years ago or something. I think it's much worse now. Across says, he said vaginas. I did, and I'll say it again. Spambot says, so yesterday was only 1.2-ish liters. Okay, well, you watch it. No driving. Now what are we doing? Let's see. So I just thought this was interesting here. Breitbart News posted this, and apparently... And this was a clip from PBS News. So very, very partisan on here. But apparently the Democrats, for some reason, are not raising as much money anymore. Seems weird, right? Let's take a listen.
An autopsy or a look back on what went wrong is not going to be the reason Democrats win or don't win in 26 or 28. But I think what it highlighted is the growing frustration among party regulars, activists, about the head of the DNC. DNC has been having so much trouble raising money. They have been outraised by multiples of, I can't even tell you how many, by the RNC. And here's the thing, the throw weight, the financial throw weight of the party is not what it used to be. Back when I started doing this, they were everything. Now you have super PACs and billionaires that can fill that void. What the DNC and the RNC can do, though, that makes them very important, they set up the rules for how you get nominated to be your party's person to take the presidency. They set the dates for when we have primaries and which states go first. And they have the rules about the delegates. If voters within the Democratic sphere and the activists in that Democratic sphere don't trust the DNC to do this well, that is very dangerous going into 2028 if people within the Democratic Party are fighting amongst themselves about how the process works.
So is she maybe saying, rationalizing the lack of funds by saying that people don't trust the DNC? Well, they shouldn't trust the DNC for one, obviously. But I wonder if it's something else, right? Because that the Trump derangement is as strong as ever, maybe stronger than ever at this point.
An autopsy or...
So why wouldn't they be getting outraised by the Republicans by multiples? I want to check something very quickly here. Hold on a second. Let's see. So here's the DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency website here. Estimated savings, $215 billion. So that's a lot of waste and fraud. A lot of waste and fraud. And I don't know. I mean, I've heard people mention things, suspicions about perhaps there was some money laundering going on with all these NGOs and all this money being thrown around all over the place, and nobody really knows where it's going or what's happening with it. You know, USAID. So I don't know. It kind of makes you wonder. In fact, it was the first thing I thought about when I heard that. When I saw that interview, it was the first thing I thought, oh, so they've cut down on the fraud. The Trump administration has cut down on the fraud. They've cut down a lot of the fraud, right? I mean, look, that's 215 billion. So, yeah, it just makes you wonder a little bit, huh? I wonder. State Department formally shutters USAID after Trump court victory. Makes you wonder. Okay. Let's get rid of that. What do we got going on here? And what are we? We're almost an hour in. Okay. So, Germany. So, you might have seen my video about Angela Merkel being honored, getting a Medal of Honor from the EU for defending European values. Apparently, she did that by flooding Germany with a bunch of people who apparently don't like European values, who have their own values, actually, that they prefer. Apparently, that gets you a Defending European Values Award from the EU. I guess that's what happens when you're just lying all the time, and you've told so many lies, you're so deep into the lies that it's impossible now to admit that you were ever lying. So you've just got to keep going with it. In any case, with pressure coming from a new party in Germany called the AfD, which is a very anti-infinite immigration from the Middle East party. So just like a sane party for sane people, because why would anybody want that in the first place? So they've been rising, and they're quickly becoming the most popular party in Germany. And they are not a globalist party. They are not establishment. They're not a managed decline party, right? They're a party that appears to be representing the will of actual German people, just normal German people who've had enough of being betrayed and punished by their leaders. So Merz has been pushing this plan to send 700,000 Syrians back. Remember, there was 1.1 million that flooded Germany in 2015 under Mother Merkel. And he's floated this plan. How serious he ever was about it, I don't know. But this plan to send over 700,000 Syrians back, because the war's over. They're refugees from war. Why should they not go home? Why should they live in Germany? Apparently, they'd prefer to live in Germany with all those benefits. Let me show you something very quickly. Where is that? Around 50 to 60% of Syrian nationals, refugees in Germany, receive Bürgergeld, citizens' income, the main means-tested benefit. So 50 to 60% of them are on welfare. So that's just a massive burden, right, on the German taxpayers. And that's just that share of their, more than 30% of the population that's foreigners, essentially. So, yeah, I mean, because they're not getting those benefits in Syria, right? So they don't want to leave. They don't want to leave. But Syria is rejecting. So the new leader of Syria, who was like an ex-ISIS leader, that's right, ex-ISIS leader, so terrorist, he's rejected the plan. So he says, nope, they're staying right where they are. Better for the Ummah. Let's take a look. From the European Conservative, Syria calls migrants in Germany a strategic asset, rejects returns. But they don't want them. They want them to stay in Germany for some reason. Another week, another reminder that the German government's rhetoric on migration rarely matches reality. Friedrich Merz was clearly hoping to claw back some support from the anti-immigration AfD when he said on Monday that he expected 80% of Syrians in Germany to return home within 3 years. The only problem is that the figure is disputed and rapidly unraveling. In a statement issued on Tuesday, the chancellor said Syrian interim president Ahmed al-Shara had mentioned the figure, which would amount to hundreds of thousands of migrants during their conversation. Shara later denied this during an event in London. By Wednesday, Merz's team was trying to downplay the commitment altogether, refusing to get into textual exegesis about which words were said by the chancellor and which were said by the president. And on Wednesday evening, Syria was much clearer that returns at this scale will not take place. See, this seems really unfair to the Germans. To me, it seems really unfair. I mean, okay, these are refugees from war. They let them stay in Germany for a while. And really, once the war is over and it's safe to go back, you should go back, I think. The Syria's leader said Syrians in exile are strategic national assets, not burdens. So he wants them to stay in Germany. So I guess that's better for the Ummah, for like global Islam, right? I guess stay there, have lots of kids, and eventually Germany can be a caliphate. And everybody wins except for Europe. Yeah, what a mess. What an absolute mess. What a betrayal of their own people in Europe. I mean, it's the same across the Western world. I mean, Canada, the Liberal government in Canada has totally betrayed the Canadian people as well. It looks like Germany is waking up, though. It looks like the AfD, which is a party that, like this guy, Merz, wants to make illegal. He just wants, he can't beat them, so he just wants to make them illegal. So they just can't exist. But they're becoming the most popular party, and God knows what draconian thing the German government will do. But we'll have to see. Anyway, Germany is the EU. The EU as a whole is just a basket case, just this crumbling edifice with leaders that hate them. All right, let's move on. What do we have down here? Do we have something else? Oh, yeah, I wanted to show you this. HIN News posted this. Trump on the death of Europe. So what is Trump saying? This seems kind of appropriate, doesn't it?
What alternatives are you going to put into place in your relationship with Europe, and also those tariffs that have been called illegal? How they're going to go impact the relationship with Russia, your sanctions?
Well, I want Europe to strengthen up. Europe has gone woke. Europe is not recognizable when you go into so many places. Not all countries. You look at Hungary. You look at Poland, Czech, Slovakia. There are some countries that have gone very much the opposite. Some really, and some others. But Europe has to be strong, and they become soft and not recognizable. You go into some of the countries, I don't want to be specific, but I think everyone knows what I'm talking about, and they're not recognizable. They become, the environmentalists have taken over. They've got windmills destroying their fields and their beautiful meadows and their oceans, and they're paying a fortune. Now, Europe has to get smart. Europe's getting killed on two things, energy and immigration. And if they don't solve both of them fast, Europe is not the same place. Yeah, please.
So Europe has to get tough. So would that mean with the Syrian migrants, the refugees, the people that Germany took in a time of war, and now the war's over, and Syria says, actually, we don't want them back. Does tough mean saying, oh no, you're taking them back, right? We did a kindness, all right? And but now the war's over, they have to go home, right? You are taking them. They're no longer our responsibility. We have fulfilled our commitment. You're taking them. Will they do that? I don't think so, because I don't think that the elites there, the leadership, the globalists like Mertz, they don't really want to send them back, right? This is future underclass that will vote for them forever as long as they just keep giving them money. All right. Do we have anything else from the EU here? Hold on. Oh, yeah. Every leftist utopia ever. Socialist citizens, slums, socialist leaders, living the high life. This really is it, right? In any society, you're going to have wealth disparities. It's just in, liberal democracies and capitalist free market countries, you have big middle classes, you have the poor. But the poor in a free market economy is wealthier than what the middle class would be in the Soviet Union, right? So, yeah, it's just a great idea, wrong species. It's one of those things. All right, what do we have here? So on the topic of the AFD, this was from May 24th. AFD is on track to win Saxony Anhalt on September 6th and could govern alone. The first AFD-led state government in German history. So that's a state in Germany. And that would be the first one led by the AFD. It's clear where things are going. This is why the German government wants to try and just make them illegal, because democracy is dead in the EU, I guess. Hold on a second. Let's see. Hold on one second. Here. This is from CNN, July 5th, 2025. Calls are mounting to ban Germany's far-right AFD party. They're not actually far-right. They're just sane. They just reflect the wishes of the people, despite it being more popular than ever. Well, I think it's just getting too big now to actually ban it without there being like a revolution or something at this point. But yeah, I mean, this is the state of Germany, where these are questions that are actually asked seriously. Like, are we just going to ban this party that represents the people, the will of the people? Crazy. Yeah, Europe ain't what it used to be. Let's see. Let's move on. What are you guys saying? Hold on. Let's see. What are you guys talking about? Spambot says, hold on a second. What's going on? Spambot says, the only time I've been to California was a decade ago. I want a trip to California for 3 Calgary Flames away games. Oh, that's interesting. 3? Oh, I guess so. Okay, so yeah, the Sharks, the Kings, and the Ducks. All right. Took his son. Very fun. That's awesome. And I'm trying to get down. Bambot says it was a great trip. It was before everyone started shitting in the streets in California. Before they had a bubonic plague before they had plague rats there. Let's see. All right. Rosie says, nice. We took a family trip in 2016. Was woke then, but not nasty where we went. Yeah. Hollywood Boulevard, back then, was like gross already. I recall. All right, let's get back to it. So here's Canadian immigration, which is not a success story. Dan Mazier posted this. Breaking, the parliamentary budget officer has revealed that nearly 74,000 rejected asylum claimants are entitled to deluxe health benefits through the Interim Federal Health Program, the IFHP. So deluxe supplemental health benefits like vision care, home care, and physiotherapy, all stuff that I would have to pay for myself, by the way. So yet this is what's happening to people. This is why we've doubled the debt. This is why we have massive, this is why we spend more on servicing just the interest on the national debt than the provinces get in healthcare transfers. It's because it's this, and then it's times 1,000. It's just everything is a giant waste. Everything is operating at the maximum wokest level at this point. The maximal, suicidal empathy level. So anyway, I thought I would get this document, but the Interim Federal Health Program, IFHB, provides limited temporary health care coverage to protected persons, including resettled refugees, asylum claimants, and victims of human trafficking who are not yet eligible for provincial or territorial health service. So not so limited, not so temporary either, it turns out. And a lot of the people that are getting this are not legitimately getting it, right? Rejected, 74,000 rejected asylum claimants. That's just the ones who've been rejected. By the way, the rate of accepted asylum claimants used to be like 40%. Now it's been doubled to 80% for some reason, for woke reasons, I guess, for suicidal empathy reasons. But let's go to the document here. All right. So what do we got? As of December 2025, more than 300,000 asylum claimants remain in the inventory of cases pending adjudication, 5 times the 2021 level, with approximately 65% of these claims in the system for over a year. So we're paying for everything. Well, that's going on, by the way, since referred to the Immigration Refugee Board of Canada. So 5 times the number since 2021. So in the last 5 years. Why Canada has 300,000 claimants here that we're paying for? I mean, like, you have to fly here. Like, you can't just get in a dinghy and cross the ocean, right? Like, in a lot of I think a huge portion of these are from India as well, right? So you have to fly here. So right off the bat, you kind of wonder, like, okay, so you've got some means already. You can go to the airport, you can get on a plane and fly to Canada. Like, shouldn't that be a red flag right off the bat? 300,000? Let's see. So what's going on here? Let's see. Urgent dental expenditures increasing from 30 million to 257 million over 5 years. Well, I have to pay for my own dental, by the way. I don't get it. Let's see. There's some other stuff I wanted to show you that's way down here. I think I have to go for a while. Hold on. What's this one here? Inventory of asylum claims pending adjudication. So you can see there's 2016. That's when Trudeau got in. Just after Trudeau got in. And just gone through the roof. Why? Why did we need that? Again, you have to fly in unless you're going across the border from the States. But if you're, from Africa or India or Middle East or whatever, You've got to fly to the States too. Let's see. Hold on a second. There was something I wanted to show you. I think it's down a little further. Hold on. Where is that? So what's going on here? Asylum seekers and others. Total health expenditures by region, 24-25, thousands of dollars. So look at all this stuff. Vision care. I've got to pay for that. I'm a Canadian citizen. Urgent dental care. I've got to pay for that. Other benefit. All of counseling, all of that. That's up to me. I've got to pay. I don't get all that stuff free. Why do we have to supply this stuff to the world? Anybody who can buy a very expensive plane ticket from halfway around the world to fly to Canada, why do we have to give them all this stuff? Resettled refugees, all the same stuff. It don't make a lick of sense to me. Let's see. All right. So there we have it. Canada's just a madhouse. This is wokeness. A wise man once said,
Everything woke turns to shit.
Yeah, this is, woke dysfunction, right? We have a double the deficit that Trudeau was going to run, right? Under Carney, he doubled that. Why? Because we got to pay for all this stuff. For some reason, we have to send billions of dollars around the world to pay for gender just rice, stuff that, like if wherever it was, Vietnam or Cambodia or whatever, if they really wanted gender just rice that badly, I feel like they already would have done it themselves. They wouldn't have needed to ask us. Not that gender just rice anywhere is any of Canada's business in the first place. But here you go. This is the dysfunctional Canada that exists now after 11 years of unbelievably reckless and irresponsible liberal leadership. And guess what, folks? Guess what? They're more popular than ever. Yikes. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, folks. Yeah, guess what, folks? They're more popular than ever. So I guess the pain's gonna continue. All right. Let's get rid of these tabs. Man, we're going through the stream wick tonight. JDL, how you doing? JDL makes such a good point here. It says, hit the like button. Get that free good karma, everybody. Get that free good karma. Hit the like button, everyone. Let's see. JDL got the 7th like. You know what? That's 1.75 good karmas right there. Boom. Feeling good. Let's see. Oh, Nevada. How you doing, Nevada? Like number 8. That's 1.5 good karmas. Really? Could it be that much? Wow, that's a lot. Radio Streamer, how you doing? Radio Streamer says, I'm here to hate commies and chew gum. My ass-kicking gum. Throw several cases at chat, because you got to bring enough ass-kicking gum for everybody. You're going to have ass-kicking gum in the chat. You got to bring enough for everybody. Turns out I still have gum and ass-kicking to do. We'll be listening while I work. That's the best way to listen. Richie, get those ads. Well, Adam, should I do an ad right now? People love it when I do the ads. It's a beautiful thing. Well, there's one I can do. I guess I'll do one. Just for practice. It's not like it's going to put the kids through college or anything, but let's do it. All right, people. Here we go. We hear a lot about crypto, but here's the part that most people miss. Crypto was created so you could actually own and control your money. After the 2008 financial crisis, Bitcoin was designed as an alternative to banks. So instead of a bank holding your money, delaying transfers, or limiting access, you're in control. And if you've ever had to wait for a transfer to clear, you've felt that problem. Now, fast forward to today. Everyone's heard of crypto, but getting started still feels complicated. That's exactly why I use Rumble Wallet. It takes all that complexity and makes it simple. Choose what you want: Bitcoin, dollar-backed stablecoins, or even digital gold backed by real gold. Hold on a second. Say real gold? Real precious gold. No complicated setup. No communism, at least on Radio Baloney. It connects with the MoonPay. I said a MoonPay, so you can use your credit card, debit card, or bank and be up and running in minutes. That's the best way to be up and running, in minutes. Once you're set up, you can even support your favorite Rumble creators like me directly. So do this now. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description and download Rumble Wallet. From there, you can set up your wallet, tap buy, and you're in the game. In just a few minutes, you can go from hearing about crypto to actually owning some. Oh, what an exciting ad read that was. I could feel you guys enjoying it. I could feel your attention just being wrapped, just listening, just almost like in kind of like a reverie while I was doing it. You could feel, you're feeling something happening in your mind, in your soul that you've never felt before. Kind of like this thrill, but also this calm and this sense of peace just washed over you. Let's see. JDL had pizza for dinner. What? That's crazy. All right. Now, what are we talking about? A Google exec warned that Bill C-22 goes beyond any regime that I'm familiar with. So, the Liberal Party in Canada, Carney, Trudeau before him, has just passed this suite of internet bills, which just everybody hates and just makes everything worse for everybody. So, Bill C-22, which is this spying bill, this internet spying bill that the Carney government wants to put in so they can just surveil everybody. Juno News posted this. A Google exec warned Bill C-22 goes beyond any regime that I'm familiar with because it gives government broad secret powers without judicial oversight. Google says it was not consulted before the bill was tabled. So they want to, the Canadian government wants access to just everything, every communication, doesn't want judges involved, just wants it, just wants to know what everybody's talking about, even if people don't want them to know. Let's take a look.
Ms. Charlotte, you said that you consider Bill C-22 more intrusive than American laws. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am. The unbounded essentially nature of the powers that are afforded to direct product changes by companies in secrecy and without judicial oversight in the case of the ministerial orders goes beyond any regime that I'm familiar with.
Est-ce que
So, like the worst in the world, the most totalitarian and dystopian in the world. Great. Nice work, Canada.
Were you consulted before the bill was drafted? Have you already expressed your reservations to the government as part of the drafting process?
We have provided a submission with some specific recommendations, but I will pass this to my colleague, Jeanette, on your broader question.
So we have shared these concerns with the government. I think I don't believe we were in a consultation process prior to tabling, but we welcome the opportunity to engage with this committee to find workable solutions here that can support law enforcement in their legitimate need to conduct investigations while also preserving user privacy and maintaining the security of our products and services. So thank you for the constructive engagement.
So all the tech companies absolutely hate this, as does the American administration. And it's bipartisan in the States. It's Democrats and Republicans. Both hate this. Warning from Apple to Canada on Bill C-22. So Canada is really, with all of these bills, with the Online Streaming Act and the Online News Act, which has already resulted in no Canadian news on meta products of any kind. But Canada is in danger of becoming a tech wasteland. Right, all of Carney's promises about bright tech future, I don't see any of that coming to fruition, because now companies are, especially VPNs, are threatening openly to just leave Canada. But we'll get to that. What's this guy from Apple saying?
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, Vice Chairs, and members of the committee. My name is Eric Neunschwander, and I'm the Senior Director of User Privacy and Child Safety at Apple, where I've been a software engineer for 19 years. I worked as the first data analysis engineer on the first iPhone and founded Apple's privacy engineering team. Today, my job is to make sure that Apple's products and services keep our users' information safe. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. As you know, this may be one of the last times we're permitted to discuss the consequences of this legislation publicly. That's because of the bill's secrecy provisions, which forbid companies like Apple from even discussing the orders we receive with our users or the public. So today, I want to be clear about how we approach privacy at Apple. And I want to be clear on why encryption is so important to defending the privacy and security of people in Canada and around the world. Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, Vice Chairs.
Does anybody trust the Canadian government to have a back door into all of these tech companies, Google, Apple, and to not screw it up and end up, giving away everybody's personal information and communications to like China, Russia, India, wherever, and like every criminal organization in the world? No, that will happen, right? Like the Canadian government, the Liberal Party, right, will screw it up badly. Aside from the fact that nobody wants to do this, I don't see it actually happening. These companies are just either saying openly they're going to refuse, or they're hinting at it very strongly. Let's see. Well, yeah, here. Google has said it will refuse to comply with Carney's surveillance bill, C-22, by refusing to provide encryption keys to CSIS and the RCMP. Quote, if we say the product is end-to-end encrypted, it is end-to-end encrypted. Here's from Proton VPN. Bill C-22 empowers the government to order VPN providers in Canada to retain metadata for up to a year. The EU's highest court has struck down this type of mass data retention legislation twice already, suggesting it won't stand up to scrutiny. Like, if the EU isn't going for this stuff, I mean, it's got to be bad. Hold on a second. I think was there a community? VPN providers like NordVPN and Windscribe have warned they may exit Canada if Bill C-22 passes, as it requires electronic service providers to retain user metadata for up to 1 year and assist law enforcement with access, potentially compromising privacy protections. Public Safety Canada. All G7 Five Eyes partners and most EU countries have lawful access frameworks that include technical obligations for electronic service providers. Well, let's see, it's Public Safety Canada saying it. So it's the government of Canada saying it. So it must be false. And it is. So the EU Court of Justice has ruled twice that general and indiscriminate mandatory data retention by service providers is unlawful, meaning most EU countries lack equivalent frameworks to Bill C-22's metadata retention requirements. So, Government of Canada, Liberal Government of Canada, just lying again. Why not, though? Nothing ever happens. There's no consequences. They just say whatever, right? Doesn't matter. Let's see. Yeah, Windscribe. We won't be far behind if C-22 passes. In its current state, VPNs would almost certainly require us to log identifying user data, so they're going to be leaving. Signal warns it would pull out of Canada if made to comply with lawful access bill. So are they just trying to turn Canada into a tech wasteland? Is that it? Just get rid of, like, Like Google and Apple, Telegram, every social media company. Like, is that it? Is that just so like there'll be no way to access information other than by like the CBC and Global and CTV News, right? Maybe we'll just get like an intranet like they have in China. You know, that'll go great with our social credit system that I'm sure they're cooking up. Right? You got to measure how much carbon people are using. Yeah, Canada is on a path to become. Canada is on a dystopian path, and the truly sad thing about it is that apparently Canadians love it. Look at this latest poll, current vote share: Liberals 47%. They're more popular than ever. This is why they want everybody's brain plugged into the mainstream media in Canada. All right. In any case, there we go. How depressing. How depressing. Don't be Canada. Yeah, here we go. More good news for Canada. Montreal, Canada, May 2026. The pro-Hamas group, Montreal for Palestine, has been displaying effigies of Jews wearing kippahs, Israeli politicians, Benjamin Netanyahu, and Donald Trump hanging from nooses at protests. What did Carney say? He said Muslim values are Canadian values. I see a lot of, I don't see any Canadian flags there. I see, there's a Montreal Canadiens flag there for some reason. I don't see the Canadian flag. I see a bunch of Palestinian flags over here. So yeah, this is Canada now. This is all fine, well, and good. Fine, well, and good. I don't know why Canada needed this, because this stuff didn't used to happen in Canada before. We have the Liberals to thank for this, for their mass immigration that nobody voted for. Nobody wanted it. They just decided to do it. But I guess there's enough Canadians that just don't care, right? I guess they decided they do like it. They do like foreigners hanging effigies in the streets. Because 47%, very happy with the Liberal Party, thrilled with the Liberal Party and all of this. I mean, it seems like there was a time when this just wasn't going to. There was a time when Canadians would have been horrified with this, not thrilled with it. Okay. Anyway, things are going great. Tristan Hopper says, "I'll admit, I used to be agnostic on Canada's virtues, the vision of its founders, and the rightness of its origins. But having lived through an extended rumspringa of alternatives and seen the barbaric ways others would have us live, we Canadians have nothing to apologize." Yeah, the Canada before, the pre-Justin Trudeau Canada was a hell of a lot better than this. Boycott. 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 I have no idea what the guy's chanting. I assume it's something awful. This is normal now. And even a Montreal Canadiens flag there with it, with the effigy of like a Jew hanging and Donald Trump hanging. Wow. There's a time when even the Canadian media would have been horrified by this. Not so much anymore. Pretty much fine with it. These people are probably Liberal voters. So, Yeah, Palestinian terrorists invented airport hijackings. That's their signature. Yeah, so I guess they took over an airport here, gated an airport. So, Viva Intifada. Viva Intifada. Being shouted at the Toronto Pearson Airport. Given the violence that Intifada is, this airport could care less about the safety of its passengers. Yeah, I think we know what Intifada means now, and it's not good. So, but this is Canada now. Media's fine with it. Liberals are fine with it. This is diversity, didn't you know? All right, let's go back to the chat for a second. It's our strength. That's our strength. Effigies of Jews and Trump hanging in the streets is our strength. Canada's strength now, apparently, according to Carney. Spambot Father says, I feel old today. I feel old every day. You're lucky you just feel old today. Nevada says, get out while you can. Nevada says, oh, I'm sure you can trust the government. I'm not black-pilled yet. I still think it can be fixed, or at least brought to something that's decent. Let's see. Cal says, how you doing, Cal? Cal says, the Western world governments are not stupid. They are intentionally creating angry division by applying their double standard in law. Grooming gangs, stabbers, rapists, whatever, get a pass. So, I mean, it might just be, too, that, again, like, it's just we're going to import a permanent underclass that will keep voting for us as long as we give them, productive people's money. Right? It could just be that, and then we just don't care what they do. We just need their vote. We don't care if they commit crimes or ever get a job, just as long as we get their vote. Cal says, whites go to jail for tweets. Yes, that's the UK right now, right? Let's see. Cal says, free and sovereign Alberta. I mean, we covered the media coverage on CBC and I think CTV as well, and just how appalling it is, just grotesque, the levels of propaganda. Radio Streamer says that was a solid, talking about the ad, that was a solid 9 out of 10, but we all treat it as a 10 out of 10 in our hearts. Needs more commie hate. It had just a touch of commie hate, and it was fast. You had to be listening to hear it, but I did manage to fit it in there. A 10 out of 10, what can you say? I mean, that's almost the most you can get out of 10. JDL says, hi, replacement theory. They talk openly. Our politicians talk openly. What do you think that the diversity push means? Right? It's like there's something wrong with your own culture and it has to be replaced with something better. And as long as it's from somewhere else, it's better. What else do people think this means? Let's see. Let's see. I'm just going to skip down to the end here. Bembot says he feels old because his youngest daughter turned 30 today. Well, I guess you are. I got nothing for you. Let's see. All right. I'm not going to read the rest of these Bembot. It's just too depressing for the people just listening and watching. It's just too depressing, Spambot. Let's see, JDL, you're still a young man. I agree, but still a young man. Let's get some applause for that. I think that, like, age is just a number, bro. So, yeah, just remember that, right? Let's see. They lied when they told me that. Let's see. Let's do meme reviews. What's going on here? Who posted this? Rob. Whiskey Rob posted this. Let's see. Create. That's X'd out there by the commie teacher. Well, that's a hammer and sickle right there. And seize. He's pointing to seize. That's what you want to do. Lesson 1, never build what you can take. Well, the problem is that communists can't build anything. They can only seize. They can only take other people's stuff. That's appealing to them. That's why communists and, like, free market people are very different people, just in terms of personality, and outlook. Very different people. The gimme people and the I'd like to build something people are not the same. Day one at the Communist Academy. So just any Canadian school right now. Okay. Well, that's depressing. Let's see. What's this? The planned experiment since the civil rights era was the erasure of Christianity, which is the bedrock of Western civilization. I posted this. Remove it and society crumbles under moral relativity with just be a good person fallacies. It turns out people don't really just do that, though. They aren't just good people. Let's see. Secular Western ethics. 2,000 years of Christian morality. Secular Western ethics wakes up and goes, look how far I've climbed, and I'm not even tired. See, this is only possible without perspective, right? To be this ignorant. This is only possible without being historically illiterate. Like Western civilization and Christianity, the incredible advances in every way, technological, but also ethically, the incredible advantages, the incredible advances of Western civilization don't happen without Christianity. Clearly, these things are tied together, and we're seeing what happens when it starts. When we're seeing what happens when we're seeing what happens when that becomes uncoupled, and it's not good. You end up with a bunch of dirty commies. That's what happens. Let's see. Helen of Troy, 1956. Helen of Troy, 2003. Helen of Detroit, 2026. So this is the new Christopher Nolan movie, The Odyssey. And I think it's just simply to fulfill the requirements to get an Oscar. To get an Oscar nomination. I think that's why he did it. Hold on one sec. Yeah, I think he's greedy for that Oscar, and there's diversity quotas now to even be nominated for an Oscar. That's why he did it. At least, there's way more beautiful black women than her. At least do that. I mean, it shouldn't. The race swap is totally unnecessary outside of the need to get an Oscar. Even then, you could do a different role. I mean, I don't understand why it's okay to do this to just anything in Western civilization, anything in the Western canon. It's almost like rubbing your face in it, right? Rubbing your face in it. In wokeness. And it's not like, I don't know who that actress is. She was in Troy in 2003. Does she look like the most beautiful woman in the world to me? No, but I mean, at least she kind of makes sense, contextually, right? This doesn't make sense. Like, she's not even like a beautiful woman. I mean, I've seen interviews with her where she looks pretty good, but not the face that launched 1,000 ships. So I don't know. It's just, you almost just get tired of it. It's like, okay, I personally just refuse to watch these movies now when they do stuff that's just so overt. It's just so obvious, right? It just the obvious virtue signal. And I just refuse to watch them now. And that's my protest. I just won't watch it. It's called A Smart City. Because if they called it a concentration camp, you might not want to live there. Yeah, the smart city, the 15-minute city. Apparently, it's great. Feels like it might be a way to control you. They have like this in China already, where they have like gates, literally. Then you got to scan a thing. It's like leave your neighborhood. I don't like that idea. You said the wrong thing on the internet, and all of a sudden you can't leave your neighborhood. That sounds awful to me, actually. And, or also too, I mean, for Canada, Carney, I'm sure would like the 15-minute city so he can lock you in for carbon reasons. No thanks. Seems like just an obvious trap to me. What's going on here? Josh Ryan posted this. Well, there's a nice liberal boomer couple, and they're watching the CBC News, and it's saying everything is fine. And they don't even notice the house burning down across the street for them. That's what the CBC is for. right? To just make sure they ignore everything around them, ignore the whole country set on fire. Just keep watching the CBC. Everything's fine. Rosemary Barton's teleprompter says everything's fine. So it must be good. Let's see. Who posted this? Jacob Kunst. Let's see. So there's a dirty commie. We are going to eat the rich. And then you'd starve. That's the problem. That's the problem. Works out great until you run out of other people's money. And the thing is, like, and then you starve. That's not like an idle threat. Like, that's what happens, right? So when a country goes commie, the people are going to start starving at some point. That's just a rule, an ironclad rule of communism. And by the millions, Soviet Union, Maoist China, you can look at Cambodia. It's just going to happen. And if you're not starving, you certainly ain't eating well. You got that, you waited for 6 hours in the bread line and you got that loaf of bread that's, half shredded Chinese newspapers. So at least you're not going to literally starve to death, but it ain't going to be fun. Jasmine Lane posted this. I can't believe Trump just posted this on Truth Social. Let's take a look. Oh, hold on. Let's go back.
Welcome back to our final broadcast, ladies and gentlemen.
There will never be another. There will never, even the people that hate him will miss him. They'll miss having somebody to hate as much as they hate. Yeah, it'll never be, like, this timeline will never happen again. It's just never. He is an absolutely unique, singular character. There won't be another one. I think that J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio would make fine presidents, but it's not going to be the same. It can't be. All right. What do we got going on here? Anti-commie. I like the sounds of that. Typical man, LOL. Let's see. Had to order a pizza because somebody didn't feel like making dinner tonight. Oh, lazy. But, pizza's good too. Savor a slice, at least. Come on. Let's see. Redheaded troublemaker. Mom, I'm dating our neighbor. He could be your dad. Age isn't an issue, Mom. No, I don't think you understand me. He could be your dad. I like it. Tough but fair. Let's see. Men's Corner posted this. That's how I want to go. So what's this? Elderly couple accidentally burns house down during sex game involving World War II flamethrower. You know what? When the time comes, can I get a senior's discount on a flamethrower? I wonder. Let's see. The Buck You Will posted this. Let's see. Before the internet, people thought villages only had one idiot. Wow, were we wrong? So many in my comment section on my videos. Let's see. Chaos 1961. Another communist heard from. Let's see. Who wants free stuff? And they put their hands up. It sounds pretty good. That communism sounds pretty great. Who wants to pay for other people's free stuff? Nobody. That's the problem. And also everybody ends up super poor and half the people starve to death. So there's that too. Let's see. Andy Hatfield posted this one. Like they say in England, whatever Durka, I guess. Durka. Allah Akbar. Let's see. Let's just move on. Yeah, England has changed. Let's see. Layden Robinson posted this. Racist Poland there. Seems like a bunch of Polish people there. Tolerant UK. And yeah, a whole lot of Allahu Akbar going on there. So, I don't know. I mean, Poland looks nice. It does look nice, doesn't it? What's this? Nevada Liberty, 1861. Hey, teacher, leave those kids alone. And yeah, they got the flag there. How any sane person how any sane person could think that, a 5-year-old could say they're born in the wrong body, and then, as an adult to actually believe that, think, oh, well, the kid said so, the kid must know. The kid must know. Like, how any sane person could be that, I guess, just stupid? It's truly bizarre, right? It's obviously brainwashing, parasitization, idea pathogen, but it is so starkly insane on its face. It is hard to believe that any adult would admit to actually thinking that was real or legitimate in any way. Let's see. In 2027, Trump identifies as a woman, changes his name to Donna Trumpette, runs in 2028, and wins as the first female president. Something the left will identify with. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That's beautiful. Oh, my God. Donna is absolutely gorgeous. First female president, and she's a Republican. She's a mega Republican. I love it. This would actually be the ultimate timeline. Like, the universe could just end after that. We wouldn't need it to go on. We already would have seen Nirvana, perfection, right? It just end. That would be the perfect closing chapter to the universe, and everybody would be happy. If only. Sci-Fi World Museum. Let's see, where many people have gone before. The Star Trek toilet. I like it. And then you got the armrests on the side there too, right? You could use those as armrests. Very nice. I'm in. Number 1. Let's see. Canada roast. The Canadian government is retarded. Well, what's going on here? They want to ban VPNs with C22. Well, that's not entirely true, but let's see the bottom. But recommend using a VPN to protect your data. So it's still idiotic. Now, they want to ban VPNs with C22. That's not the case. It's just that C22 is going to cause the VPNs to stop operating in Canada. So it would effectively ban it, right? It's not a ban on VPNs. It's just that VPNs won't operate in Canada. Or the ones that do won't really be VPNs anymore. Not the same way they are in other countries. So, yeah, it's just dysfunction, right? It's just liberal dysfunction. This is what happens when you keep voting for a party that does everything wrong, that wrecks your country, and there's no accountability. There's no punishment for it. You just keep voting for them over and over again, no matter how incompetent and malevolent they are. So, yeah, it's dysfunction. Dysfunction, woke dysfunction. Let's see. Declaration of memes. Oh, Canada. Doctors in Canada researching modern healthcare treatments. It's just a noose. Yeah, we've got the whole MAID thing isn't working out the way we were told. The medical assistance in dying thing. I think most Canadians assumed this was going to be like a last resort thing for people with terminal diseases who were going to die in like a few months and didn't want to go through, horrible pain. No, it's just, Crohn's disease or seasonal depression, literally. All right, what do we got here? Laura Luma posted this. So there's a guy who's angry saying Allahu Akbar. And then here's a bunch of, I guess, lefties. Don't fuel hatred. Don't mix everything together. Don't play the game of the far right. He is a troubled young man. Don't forget we colonized this country. It is an isolated case, a crazy man. He was manipulated by the system. This is suicidal empathy right here. This is what Gadsat is talking about. And, it's real. This is what people say. These are all things that the media tells us, that lefties say when they're doing their apologetics for atrocities. Let's see. The Thinking Atheist. What's going on here? Pitch meeting. Remember Jaws? Yes. Remember the Old Testament? Where are you going with this? Noah Shark. Get to higher ground. I like it, but I think we already did that one. Did we do this one already? I think we might have. What's this? All right, I think that's it. I think that's all of them. Oh, hold on. I think we missed some stuff. Hold on. Let's restart that. Hold on. I thought there was some more that we hadn't done. Let's keep going. There's the pizza one. There's that one. There's that one. That one. That one. The Trump one is the best. We did that. Let's see. There's that. Did you see that skip? Did you see that skip? All right. We've already done that one. Yeah, I think we've done that one. All right, we've done them all. It's over, folks. Meme review is over. What are we? Almost 2 hours already. Holy jeez. Good Lord. All right. Let's get back to the chat. Let's see. Rosie says, hold on. Let's go back a little bit. Okay. Rosie said, I worked with one woman who could play Helen. She was so naturally beautiful that men would see her and stop talking mid-sentence or completely forget what to say. That is Helen. Yeah, none of the three that we saw there, even the two white Helens, were that, right? But it's just like the whole race swap thing, the Odyssey, it's just at this point, like, it's just, I think people look at it. I know I do, and I just go, oh, just forget it. I'm not going to watch it. I know what you're doing. No. No energy makes you think, JDL says. No energy. Let's see. Funny memes, Rosie says. All right, let's move on. What do we got here? I don't know if I want to do this one exactly. Oh, well, here's a cartoon. I guess a political cartoon from the Globe and Mail. So this is in Canadian media. Let's see. That's American democracy. That's American democracy there, and it's being held up by a bunch of corporate propagandists. So that's the British guy, and who is that? There's, I guess, Jon Stewart. I guess that's Jimmy Kimmel. There's Stephen Colbert. So he lost his job because his show was losing massive amounts of money every year. And the network decided that they didn't want to lose, I think, $50 million a year for his show. So he's gone. And this is a massive threat to American democracy. And now it's just these talk show guys holding it up. These incredibly partisan talk show guys. These corporate establishment propagandists. So this is the quality of, I guess, political satire in Canada right now in the mainstream media. It's just embarrassing. It's embarrassingly stupid, right? Ugh. Brian Lilly says, now he's a Canadian journalist. He writes for the Sun, Toronto Sun, and he's one of the few good journalists in Canada, along with, Tristan Hopper, and there's a few others. I'm sorry, but this cartoon about Stephen Colbert in the Globe is ridiculous. Colbert was not a pillar of democracy. He is a comedian and not a very good one. His show was bloated in terms of staff compared to audience size and ratings. That made him vulnerable. This is overblown. It's just ridiculous. It's absurd. It's just stupid. I mean, this will appeal to smooth-brained, elbows up people. That's about it, right? The liberal boomers. A lot of great boomers in Canada, but this isn't geared towards them. This is towards the elbows up, brain directly plugged into the CBC liberal boomer. It's almost too stupid and shallow to bother with, but I guess we had to give it a couple of minutes. All right, let's move on. Let's see. We got to get this show on the road. We got to get this show wrapped up, actually. What we got to do. All right. Kareem Assad. So she's like an independent journalist. She goes and records what happens at protests and stuff. And I don't even know what her politics are, but she's hated by the leftists, right? And by the Antifa, communist revolutionaries. Let's take a look. As you can see, she's obviously a white supremacist, right? This is how they frame her. That's what they call her.
Who is community, who is welcome, who is not?
Do you decide that? I don't know. I don't think you get to decide that.
Well, it sounds like you think you decide that.
I'm not deciding it, but I think
you're telling me that I don't belong here and I need to go home.
And there are 3 people over there who agree with you. Just saying.
What do you think I agree with? I don't agree with those guys.
I don't know, man.
So if you don't know, then why are you
being like this?
What is that?
It doesn't matter to them. They don't care. They're playing a part, right? This is a performance that they're doing. They don't care who's right or wrong. They don't care about fact. They don't care about objective reality. No, they just care that they feel like they're doing something progressive. That's it. They have no principles, right? They're incapable of, they've been trained to be incapable of second or third order thinking. They just know she's been identified as an enemy, as part of the oppressor class. Right? And she must be attacked. There's nothing that will convince them otherwise. And really, it's not the point. The point is, the point is to promote the revolution. That's it. Right? And that's what this performance is all about.
How am I being rude? I'm not going to.
It's always just the dregs of society too. Just like the most dysfunctional people, like the people that you would least want having any kind of influence over any part of your life whatsoever. Ugh, just gross.
So again, obstruction of the sidewalk that's going to be trying to go through, I think. You guys can't block the sidewalk. We're just going to pass through. Hey, no body checking, please.
Get your camera out of my face. Step back. Everybody step back. Come on. No.
You've been following us.
No. Come on. Everybody
calm
down.
Step back. Okay, how is this appealing to anybody? Right? Just this woman here who goes, because the mainstream media won't cover any of this. They won't show these people. Right? Most Canadians have no idea what these people are like, what they do, what happens at when they protest, or how violent they are. So independent media has to go and do it, right? And how is it appealing to anybody to see? And this is why the mainstream media doesn't cover it. They know it won't be appealing, right? To see a bunch of just literally the dregs of society harassing a woman who's just there to cover the event and ask people questions. That's it. You can see she's not a fascist, right? She's clearly not a fascist, right? How is this appealing to anybody? But again, that's why the mainstream media doesn't want to show this to Canadians, right? It's the wrong narrative, right? They might start questioning all these progressive things. If they saw the people that are really the grassroots supporters of every batshit crazy woke thing that the government does. All right. This is hilarious. It doesn't get any more woke Canada than this. Brian Lilly posted this. This is absolutely ridiculous. All of it, not just the addition of drug toxicity acknowledgement. So now, along with the land acknowledgements, there's drug toxicity. But in any case, all of it, not just the addition of a drug toxicity acknowledgement to the existing land and African ancestral acknowledgements. What? None of this makes any sense. The city of Toronto is not functioning well. Basic services are a disaster, and this is what they are focused on. It's called woke dysfunction. This is what happens when any institution is taken over by the idea pathogen, right? It stops being about what every institution stops being about what it was founded for, what its original purpose was, and then just becomes about spreading the mind virus. That becomes the most important thing. This is how you get woke dysfunction. City of Toronto adds mandatory drug toxicity acknowledgement. What? I mean, it's just bafflingly stupid. So you got the land acknowledgements, and that hasn't gone well for Canada. African ancestral acknowledgement. Why in Canada? Canada wasn't like a part of the transatlantic slave trade, anything like that. Like the black people that are in Canada wanted to be here. They came here, like of their own free will. Why do we need to do that? What business is that of Canada's? African ancestral acknowledgements? It makes absolutely no sense. Particularly those brought to these lands as a result of the transatlantic slave trade. We weren't a part of that. And slavery. Well, how come, you know what you never hear anymore? Canadians used to be really proud of the Underground Railroad, right? Like slaves fleeing to Canada for freedom. You never hear about that anymore. I wonder why. It's not part of the narrative. Instead, we get just lies. Just lies. Again, this is how you destroy a nation's morale. This is how you burn down a society so that you can build the Marxist utopia, so-called utopia. Let's just say this is how you can burn down a functioning society so you can build North Korea on top of it. We pay tribute to those ancestors of African, the non-existent ones that you're talking about. Great. Drug toxicity crisis acknowledgement. The city of Toronto acknowledges the tragic and substantial losses that people continue to face due to the ongoing drug toxicity crisis. These losses and the grief experienced are immeasurable. Well, why are all the policies that you support, why do they all make it worse? Right? Why do we have, an order of magnitude greater number of drug overdose deaths and ruined families and all of that? Like, maybe we should just stop doing the things you want to do, and then you wouldn't have to have the drug toxicity crisis. They create the problems, and then they offer solutions that make everything worse, and then they just normalize it. That's what this is doing here. It's just a thing that exists, and we have to acknowledge it. Nothing to do with us. Nothing to do with our insane, euphemistically named harm reduction, which should really be called life reduction. In any case, yeah, this is woke dysfunction right here. This is what's become of Canada, and it's not getting any better under Carney because he's just as woke as Trudeau ever was. Let's see. Yeah, so despite its historical failures, support for communism is gaining ground in Canada and throughout the Western world. There's the communist fist right there. Black Lives Matter uses this. There's like a trans one. There's a Palestine one. How do you know that the kind of through line for all of this stuff is just communism? That it's never about the issue. It's never about the issue, right? The issue is always the revolution. How do you know? Because they use the communist fist for all of it. Every issue. They just use a different version of the communist fist. That's how you know it's all about communism. I mean, it seems fairly obvious to me. And here you go. Liberal Party of Canada, current vote share, 47%. And this is Abacus data. Abacus is good. Usually they're a couple points off of the Conservatives. Maybe you give the Conservatives 37, but Liberals more popular than ever. Things keep getting worse. Things keep getting more absurd in this country. Mark Carney's claims keep becoming more ridiculous. Yet people love it. People love it. I guess that's the advantage in having a media that will keep your people ignorant. Huh? All right. Let's I can't do it. I can't listen to Carney. I can't do it. Nope. I'm just not going to do it. What do we got here? Oh, dear. So, talking about woke dysfunction. Melissa posted this. Melissa L.M. Rogers. A man in his 40s with inflammatory bowel disease was assessed outside a Tim Hortons, offered maid, and then driven to the and then driven by the doctor to the assisted suicide facility and killed by maid. So this is real. This is real. Let's go to the article here. This is a National Post article. Ontario man dies of medical assistance and dying after being assessed outside a Tim Hortons. It's really hard to believe. A London, Ontario doctor who assessed a patient with inflammatory bowel disease and a history of mental health issues for maid outside a Tim Hortons location and later personally drove the man to the place his life was ended. And who would, let me start over from the beginning. A London, Ontario doctor who assessed a patient with inflammatory bowel disease and a history of mental health issues, which is something you really might want to take into consideration before you kill them, for maid outside a Tim Hortons location and later personally drove the man to the place his life was ended, has agreed to a minimum 6 months supervision. At first you might have thought prison sentence or, at least a suspension of his medical license. No, just supervision. So the next time he does it, I guess somebody will be watching. In another case, the same doctor failed to administer one of the 3 drugs used in assisted deaths, one that paralyzes the body's muscles, including the muscles involved in breathing. The patient resumed spontaneously breathing again after initially being pronounced dead and after McLean had already left the home. That's nightmare material right there. So he sounds like a really bad doctor who also really wants to kill people. People with mental health issues. As first reported Monday by the Globe and Mail, the doctor's case is raising new concerns about maid's oversight and accountability. Oh, you mean like there isn't any? That's a concern. Quote, what is striking is not only the seriousness of the concerns identified in these cases, but the limited regulatory response, said Dr. Ramona Coelho, a family physician and former member of the Office of the Chief Coroner of Ontario's Maid Death Review Committee. I mean, it's all just insanity. Like, this country is falling apart. It is absurd. It's becoming a dystopia. I mean, this is dystopian, is it not? McLean conducted his assessment outside the coffee shop. That's at Tim Hortons. The CPSO panel found it concerning that McLean discussed, quote, sensitive maid-related matters in an informal public setting. In the committee's view, this reflected a lack of the level of formality and care expected when assessing requests for maid. The panel was also troubled by the quantity and nature of McLean's text exchanges with Dillon, which included comments about the family's views. McLean's decision to drive Dillon to the maid provision location, which the Globe identified as an industrial-like facility where bodies are prepared for funerals, raised concerns about professional boundaries. Do you think so? Do you think? Meet me over at the Tim Hortons and we'll have a couple double-doubles and then I'll take you and suicide you. No, you don't need to call the family. Don't worry about it. Quote, taken together, these actions created a risk that McLean's involvement could be perceived as influencing the patient. The committee's summary reads, especially given the patient-doctor power imbalance and Dylan's history of mental health and substance use issues. I mean, this is insanity. He's able to just meet this guy at a Tim Hortons and then just drive him to the suicide booth? Like, this is madness. Can you imagine the family, being a family member, saying, what? What? Any discussion like this? We should be there. There's mental health issues. You know? Like, if we'd been there, we would have said no. This just feels like murder to me. I got to be honest. It's beyond shocking. Quote, in this case, the assessment occurred during a single encounter at a Tim Hortons coffee shop. The family was not engaged in the assessment process despite the patient's primary support, despite being the patient's primary support, and despite the maid provider being aware that they were trying to raise concerns. I mean, this is your infinite empathy. This is your leftist, your progressive empathy right here. This is your equity, right? I mean, it's just, I'm speechless. I'm speechless how dystopian Canada has become. And this isn't a one-off, by the way, right? This isn't a one-off. A 79-year-old Catholic priest who was recovering from a hip fracture at Vancouver General Hospital in Canada said he was offered medical assistance in dying twice by hospital staff, even though he made clear he is a Catholic priest and morally opposed to euthanasia. Like, are they getting paid by the suicide? I guess literally, they probably actually literally are. You know, that every time they do it, they bill the government. I'm assuming that's how it works. Because they call it healthcare, right? Let's see, what else do we have here? Hold on. I have another. How about this one? A Canadian woman campaigning for a wheelchair ramp to her private residence was instead offered a medical assisted death. They seem just too eager, don't they? Here's another one. 84-year-old woman woke up one morning in horrible pain. She went to the Vancouver General Hospital to find out what was going on. Before she got any answers, the nurse offered her maid. When euthanizing is offered before care, there's a problem. She didn't want to die.
Lady doctor, whose very first words out of her mouth is, "We would like to offer you maid." I was taken aback. That was the last thing on my mind. I just wanted to find out why I was in pain. I did not want to die. And I was a month in hospital, came home and recuperated nicely enough that I could take some trips. Off I went last year to Cuba before the...
So I guess when you completely screw up the healthcare, when you completely screw up the healthcare system through mass immigration policies, I guess this is a solution, right? This is the solution. Canadian government offers man death because he's poor, made as an alternative to poverty. That's how you solve your problem. That's how an empathetic, progressive government solves the gigantic problems that it causes. How about this? Funeral home in Canada wants to help people skip the line and go straight to the casket. A funeral home in Canada has decided to make euthanasia even more appealing by offering patients a room where they can undergo assisted suicide right on site. Canada has just become ghoulish, right? This is ghoulish. It's unbelievable. Canada is killing people in assisted suicide the same day they request it. I mean, kill you faster than you can get in an ER. Yeah, well, look, most ERs these days, you're waiting, I don't know, 10 hours. On a good day, might be 20 hours. So, yeah, I guess these are the solutions to the problems caused by the liberals. Yeah, they'll just kill you, right? Then it's over. And you can't talk to the papers after either, right? You won't be telling anybody about it on social media. That's another problem solved for them. All right, people. So we're at the last bookmark of the evening. And at this point, what we do is we always do, because usually there's things that might be a little iffy with YouTube's broken copyright system. So we have to cut off the YouTube portion of the stream. We will continue for a little while longer on Rumble, X, and Locals. But the YouTube portion, I'm sorry, it's my apologies, but it's just something I have to do because otherwise it's a pain in the ass after the stream. We're going to have to cut off the YouTube now, but continue everywhere else. If you're not going to switch over from YouTube, 7:30 Friday, next stream. See you then. Good night. There we go. There we go. Stalin